sure this ain't live, because I'm tired of pretending LeBron isn't an evil.
This might be the wildest NBA leak of the decade. A clip from a live stream that was never meant to go public somehow slipped out. Kyrie Irving, believing he was completely offline, let his guard down and began speaking freely. And seconds later, he dropped a line that sent shockwaves through the entire NBA. But that wasn't even the craziest part. Once you watch the full clip, everything changes. Kyrie didn't just vent, he exposed what really happened behind the scenes during LeBron's second run with the Cavaliers. He revealed the true power dynamics, the front office pressures, the trades, and the so-called brotherhood that everyone kept hyping. Everything fans thought they understood about that era, about their relationship, was false. The moment the clip leaked, the NBA world went into full meltdown. Fans were stunned, treating it like a brand new bombshell, and suddenly the narrative of that Cavs era looked completely different. This story moves fast, and once you see the rest, you may never view that time in the league the same way again.
Don't none of us get a pass tonight. Not just Kyrie.
Because that question was crazy. When somebody asked me if LeBron was like a father figure to me, bro, that was crazy, bro. No kizzy. That was a crazy ass question. He's like,
anyone who followed the Cavaliers back in 2017 already knew tension was brewing, especially after Kyrie demanded a trade that July. Now, 8 years later, he finally confirmed what people had whispered but never said out loud. The LeBron era in Cleveland often felt controlling and manipulative. Once the clip surfaced, the internet went into overdrive. Old moments resurfaced, Kyrie looking annoyed in press conferences, tense on the bench, or clearly uncomfortable on camera. It wasn't just Kyrie getting scrutiny. That old narrative about LeBron being a father figure was revisited, and Kyrie shut it down instantly. Fans rewatched every clip with fresh eyes, and suddenly those small reactions that once seemed insignificant now made perfect sense. By the end of the online meltdown, one thing was undeniable. Kyrie had never been a side character in someone else's legacy. He had always been a star in his own right, long before any LeBron drama even entered the picture. And let's...
But LeBron was playing that in that run.
So Kyrie saved his ass. Because Bron sat his scary ass in the corner and said, "Here, Kyrie, I'ma go sit on the side. Here, Kyrie."
To really understand why the tension between Kyrie Irving and LeBron James cut so deep, you have to go back to the very beginning, 2011, the moment Kyrie first stepped onto a Cleveland court. This was before LeBron returned, before the roster moves, before the pressure of a super team. Kyrie arrived as the franchise's golden child, loved by fans, respected by teammates, and completely independent. He wasn't chasing headlines, control, or super team energy. He was just a pure hooper, locked in, grinding, and building his own identity without the noise or the circus. When the Cavaliers drafted him first overall in June 2011, the city went wild. After a short but flashy run at Duke, Kyrie immediately proved he could hoop. As a rookie, he averaged 18.5 points, 5.4 assists, and 3.7 rebounds per game, shooting nearly 47% from the field and almost 40% from three. Those weren't just solid numbers, they were star-in-the-making numbers. Unsurprisingly, he ran away with the 2012 Rookie of the Year award, claiming 117 of 121 first-place votes. Kyrie didn't stop there. Season after season, he continued to improve.
Rolling. That sold to us, y'all. You got people out here that are human, that are acting every day of their life. They're not even real. I had no idea, man. I found out that Bron was coming back like the rest of you guys. Rest of you guys in the world. I had no inclination. I had no time to prepare. It's not that it was on my bingo card like, hey, I'm gonna spend my career playing with Bron. Like I had no.
By 2014, Kyrie Irving was no longer a rookie. He was an all-star, the franchise centerpiece, and for a brief moment, the heartbeat of Cleveland basketball. This was his foundation, his era, and that's why what happened next hit so hard. Just as Kyrie had Cleveland locked in, quietly building something real and undeniable, everything shifted overnight.
Out of nowhere, LeBron James announced he was returning to Cleveland after 4 years of chasing super teams and global superstardom. There was no warning, no internal heads up, nothing. The second that contract was signed, the entire Cavaliers universe tilted sideways. To make matters worse, Kyrie found out the same way everyone else did, scrolling headlines, watching interviews, reading breaking news. The team he had been shaping from the ground up was suddenly no longer his. In an instant, he went from the face of the franchise to a sidekick. The front office adjusted, the media narrative flipped, and even coaching decisions began bending toward LeBron. PR teams, brand handlers, and media insiders flooded the organization, turning Cleveland from a basketball team into LeBron's stage, with every spotlight following him. Kyrie remained elite, still working hard and leading on the court, but the world around him had changed entirely. What really shifted, however,
It's going to be a lot of media attention. It's going to be a lot of back and forth of narratives. It's going to be about a lot of spun narratives. It's going to be a lot of politics.
like a switch flipped, people began to realize that Kyrie Irving wasn't paranoid or difficult. He was reacting to an environment that had felt wrong from day one. What had looked like silence or compliance back then now reads as awareness. Looking back, it all makes sense. Kyrie wasn't insecure or fragile. He was navigating a world that had suddenly become unpredictable, performative, and tightly controlled at every turn. The dynamics had shifted fast. The organization, the media, even locker room conversations were now orbiting around LeBron James, and that moment changed everything. Everything Kyrie had built was suddenly viewed through a new lens. This frustration had nothing to do with ego or jealousy. Irving was already one of the league's hottest players. The issue was recognizing that the system itself had been reshaped in a way that clashed with the independence and energy Kyrie had always stood for. And this wasn't new behavior for LeBron. His reputation for controlling everything, from media narratives to on-court decisions to front office influence, was well known. During his first Cleveland run, LeBron openly blamed the organization for having a weak front office and no real co-stars, essentially admitting he couldn't carry a team alone like other legends had done. So he left, formed a star-loaded squad elsewhere, and when Cleveland landed a rising star like Kyrie, LeBron returned. But he didn't just sign a contract, he signed leverage. Those short-term deals with player options weren't accidents. They gave him control, kept management on edge, and forced every move to align with his vision.
No, I don't. I think that showing them in my mature mind had a lot to do with the death of Tupac.
The ripple effect was immediate. The roster began reshaping almost overnight as players with history alongside LeBron started arriving one by one. J.R. Smith, Amon Shumpert, Mike Miller, James Jones, Kendrick Perkins. It felt like pieces sliding into a blueprint only one person held. The Kevin Love trade in August 2014 cemented the new hierarchy. Suddenly, Kyrie's young, rising squad was no longer his team. The franchise had been rebuilt around LeBron's preferences, his system, and his timeline. Coaching shifts followed. In January 2016, head coach David Blatt was fired despite a strong record, replaced by someone LeBron openly supported. This pattern didn't end in Cleveland. Wherever LeBron went next, big trades, major influence, and control followed. For Kyrie, the message was clear. This was no environment where he could grow freely or stay true to himself. His style, rhythm, and energy lived in a different lane, one built on freedom, expression, and independence. Kyrie was never wired for rigid systems or silent obedience, and that gap only grew. From the outside, everything looked perfect. 2 superstars, big smiles, clean handshakes, highlight reels everywhere. But behind the cameras, polished photos, and media soundbites, cracks appeared. Real cracks that never healed. Kyrie's trade request didn't come out of nowhere. It wasn't emotional or impulsive. It was the culmination of years of tension, swallowed frustration, and pretending everything was fine when it wasn't. Inside the locker room, Kyrie saw a side of LeBron the public never did. He kept to himself, not because he was distant, but because the energy constantly shifted. Teammates noticed it too. The tone, the way LeBron spoke down to him, the mentor act Kyrie never asked for. He didn't need to be barked at like a rookie still learning the basics. Viral clips even showed LeBron giving instructions to Kyrie on the bench like he was a newcomer, not a champion. Every possession came with an unspoken rule. LeBron first, everyone else second. That wasn't partnership, it was control. Off the court, the dynamic continued. LeBron managed perception with subtle comments, cryptic interview lines.
Him too. It's a different animal. It's a different journey. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're automatically expected to be at the top of the charts, the top of the league.
Try to do whatever I could do to help the kid out, be the best player he.
Still, nothing compared to what happened in 2017. Behind the scenes, the Cavaliers explored trading Kyrie Irving for Paul George without telling him, a repeat of situations he had already lived through. When Kyrie found out, whatever trust remained shattered instantly. LeBron denied knowing anything and acted quickly to protect his image, but Stephen A. Smith immediately pushed back, insisting LeBron knew more than he admitted and cared more about optics than honesty. Kyrie saw it clearly. He was never truly valued as an equal. The only move that made sense was to cut contact completely and request a trade. No calls, no texts. To the public, it may have looked cold or petty, but to Kyrie, it was survival. Staying would have cost him who he was, and that price was too high. The moment Kyrie left, reality hit Cleveland hard. That so-called unstoppable dynasty began to crack. Kyrie wasn't just a co-star. He was the piece holding all that controlled chaos together. On August 22, 2017, the Cavs traded Kyrie for Isaiah Thomas. Not the Hall of Fame Isaiah Thomas, but the 5'9" guard from Boston. On paper, the trade looked solid. Isaiah Thomas, Jay Crowder, Ante Zizic, and a 2018 first-round pick. But reality hit fast. Thomas was injured, Crowder didn't fit, and the team's chemistry felt off from day one. The once sharp and dangerous Cavaliers now moved in slow motion. Kyrie's absence revealed just how much the system had leaned on him. While he was there, the Cavs ran a 110.9 offensive rating, one of the league's best, and everything flowed. After he left, offense dipped slightly, defense collapsed, and they fell to 29th in the league. Their net rating dropped from plus 3.2 to barely positive. LeBron was still individually great, but it didn't matter. The team was no longer a super team. They struggled through
damn nerves about LeBron. So now, months later, let's clean this up to the point where he looks totally innocent in all the, I never wanted Kyrie to leave. That was never a part of the equation.
Did you speak to LeBron James or talk to LeBron James before you and your representatives met with ownership and let them know that you wanted out? Why not?
The locker room quickly deteriorated after Kyrie's departure. Isaiah Thomas struggled to connect with teammates. Jay Crowder seemed lost, and Kevin Love bore the blame for everything. The front office had to dismantle half the roster at the trade deadline, something true title contenders rarely do. Losing the one player who kept the system steady caused ripple effects across the entire Eastern Conference. Boston rose behind Tatum and Brown. Toronto finally broke through and won the championship in 2019. Milwaukee took off, and Philly loaded up. The Cavs' chokehold on the conference was gone. The Kyrie-LeBron split didn't just impact one team, it reshaped the entire NBA. The final blow came on July 1, 2018, when LeBron left for Los Angeles. Cleveland didn't just stumble, it imploded. With no structure, identity, or spark, the team fell to the bottom of the league. It became clear that LeBron's Cleveland experiment only worked when Kyrie was there to balance the chaos. While LeBron moved on, Kyrie took control of his own path, choosing independence and defining himself on his own terms. Fans still debate, with LeBron supporters blaming Kyrie, but the timeline tells a different story. Kyrie saved LeBron's legacy in 2016. Without his Game 7 shot against the Warriors, LeBron would be sitting at 3 wins and 7 finals losses instead of 4 and 6. After leaving, Kyrie rebuilt his career and